Thanks for joining us for the Member xCite presentation. The Member xCite presentation is informative, interesting to the audience, and showcases the strengths of the presenter as an entrepreneur and their area of expertise. It's not a sales pitch, it's a 10-minute educational and insightful exploration into what they do. And of course, it's exciting.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our xCite presenter today, Ilya Shteinberg from Valuations, to present to us on Valuations. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Ilya Shteinberg.
For anyone who hasn't met me before, I'm Ilya. I'm a property valuer and business development manager for Valuations. We are a family-run property valuation business, and we do operate throughout all of Victoria, all of New South Wales, and all of the xCite. So today I'll be talking a little bit about what we do, why it's important, and some related. So why am I in valuations? I've got a pretty broad range of experience. My most recent role before I was a property valuer, I was working in strategic partnership management and events at RMIT University, so not even close. But the pandemic rolled around, and as a lot of people here, especially in the entrepreneur world, would know, required a little bit of shift. So my work at RMIT University was very much based on projects and external funding, which all disappeared in early 2020. And when my contract ran out in 2020, I had some decisions to make. And a friend of mine invited me to learn a little bit about property valuation and to help grow the business in Victoria, because I was previously in New South Wales business. So where my interest came in is property valuation is a very analytical process. I've always been a project manager. I always work with time frames, deadlines, budgets, very kind of objective and structured programs. And property valuation, although it's a completely different industry, working with a new product and service, kind of fits into how I work. So it's very interesting to learn a bit about that. And on the other end, being in the property industry in Australia, it's an evergreen kind of industry. We're one of the world's leading growth areas in real estate and property. And some places in Australia are considered the most expensive in the world. So there's lots of business to be done and connections to be made. So that's how I got into property valuation. So I'll talk a little bit about what a valuation is, so what a valuation is and why people get valuations. So valuations are based on different asset classes. So it can be residential property, or property in general. It can be things called chattels, which essentially is like plant and equipment, tractors or large processing equipment in a factory, things like that. Prestige goods. So I have a client that recently came to us who had a really, really old Holden, got burnt up in a fire, and needed it valued because value something that's 40 years old and paying a collector's item. Insurance companies can't do it, they're buyers, so that's where we come in, or any independent and also infrastructure, so big projects, government projects like the new railways, large housing developments, things like that. It's really important in the valuation world for the reason that usually someone needs to be compensated for but in terms of our work, we do focus on property. So property valuations are a legal document, and property valuers can be called upon as legal expert witnesses. So sometimes we have to attend court cases and explain evaluation process, back up our reasoning and our thinking. Documents can be relied on things like corporate property valuation or any valuation can look at past, present, and potentially even planning into the future. So it's very rare, but we can look at things where a building or a home is being built and the person wants to know, although it's halfway through the build, what it will be worth as it's complete. But more commonly than not, it's the current value, that's the most important, it's the most accurate, and also past values. We can go back 3 decades if we need to value a property in the 1980s if somebody's requiring it. So property valuations, our documents and valuation that you will see is a pretty long document. We range anywhere from about 10 to 30 pages. There's a lot of information. And just some of that information includes details about the surrounding areas. So, for example, you can have a really prestigious suburb like Toorak here, for example, with Melbourne. And some of the suburbs around it are very, very hard to compare, even though they're very, very close by, because the area has different demographics. Information about zoning is one of the most important things that people aren't related to property or don't really understand how we value things. It's really, really important because properties in different zones, although it's really similar and the property can look exactly the same, the price can be drastically different. So other smaller things that are, let's say, equally important, construction, so for example, brick versus weatherboard houses, and level of improvements. So 2 houses could look like crap, essentially, from the exterior, but one could have a brand new fit out inside and one be original from 1894. And obviously they're completely different in terms of price. So who needs a valuation? Apart from the individual, so anybody who owns a property, essentially, we do a lot of work with accountants, conveyancers, lawyers, government and family lawyers, lawyers in probate and deceased estate. This is all very, very common to deal with these individuals, as well as so in the introduction, we talked about that property valuation very rarely has anything to do with buying and selling. That is true. So some of our fringe cases are people who want a second opinion on a real estate appraisal where they go to the property. It's not extremely common. And finally, on this topic, why property valuers? So we, as property valuers, have an obligation to be impartial. So, although we always want to take our clients' circumstances into consideration, we do remain impartial. So we have no bias. We're not selling the property for the clients. We're not advising them as an accountant on what their situation is. And in fact, we tell our clients all the time that if you need information on why our valuation is today rather than last week, please speak to your accountant, please speak to your lawyer. They'll explain. We stop the communication when it comes to potential advice because impartiality kind of goes out at that point. The other really, really important points on that is we're experienced in the areas of work. So I work in the whole of Victoria. For me, it's harder than a valuer who works in the field. For example, I only look at properties like, for example, in West Melbourne. I look at properties all around Victoria, in regional areas. I have a lot of experience looking at one area compared to another. And knowledgeable in those areas. But any property valuer or any valuer in general should be knowledgeable in the area that they're investment, the property, you should know a lot about property, what different properties look like, why they're valued differently. If you value businesses, you should know a lot about business. So that's something that I personally don't do, but we do in our company, and we have an expert on that who knows businesses work, how their profit and loss works, etc. So that's why you need a valuer. So a lot of people also ask us valuations. Why do we need them if we can get an appraisal from a real estate agent? Well, it's quite different. A real estate agent can potentially be biased when they provide appraisal. And the reason is generally when you're going to get an appraisal from a real estate agent, it's because you're selling your property. And you'll seek out several real estate agents, and they're essentially bidding for your business. So the person that tells you they can sell your house for the most could potentially win that business. They have no obligation to be impartial, they have no obligation to provide an accurate figure. They're giving you an idea of what the market entails and what it's looking like, potentially even into the future. So a lot of real estate agents want to capitalize on the current market trends and want to grow the value in their area. So they might be appraising properties that are a little bit higher than what they were in that area. So when we talk about valuation as compared to that, as I already spoke about, we're impartial, we don't care that you're selling your property. We are just giving you the price that we believe it will fetch. Today it was I'll talk a little bit as well about the methodology behind valuations. So we use a few different methods. The most important method is called a direct comparison method. So we look at like for like in quotes, that's the term that we use, property to the one that you're asking us to value. So what that means is if you're living in a hybrid house with brick veneer exterior, we're not going to compare that to a weatherboard house that was built in 1912, right? Regardless of whether it's a 3-bedroom, it's not the same property, and it's direct as like for like as possible is extremely important when we value properties. When we can't use that method, we can either add methods or replace it with other methods. One is capitalization, which is income based. So we look at how much rent, for example, commercial property garners, and we use that to compare it to other properties. Then we have a summation method where we split different aspects of the property. So for example, if we can't find a house in the area or several to compare your property with, what we'll do is we'll separate what the land is worth, and we have certain calculators and tools that we use to estimate how much the building of that property or the replacement building of that property will cost, and we add those together. We can also use these supplementary methods as check methods to check if our direct comparison approach was correct. And more often than not, in fact, probably an extremely high percentage of the time, if you do those supplementary methods, you'll actually find that the direct comparison method is switching. So they're really good check methods, and it's a really good way to show even more evidence, especially when prestige properties come into play, or large commercial properties, because we're looking at potentially taking so while on the topic of tools, we use a few tools, and some are really accessible by everyone else. So we use realestate.com. And domain.com. They have a lot of information, a lot of data that they collect. They're really big businesses, and they make that information public and available to anyone. So we use as much of that information as we can because it's all aggregated and it kind of puts lots of different sources together. So it's actually really good for us. There's also an online database that has essentially every property that was ever sold in Australia and all its details. That's very valuable to us. It's a paid tool, so we use that. And then finally, when I was talking about zoning and its importance, we have tools that shows different zoning in different areas and all the information that comes with it. So really comprehensive information that all goes into our reports, and as I said, builds out potentially 30 pages. So very, very comprehensive. So that's what we do, that's how we do it, and that's who looks for our expertise. And if you have any questions, looking forward to hearing.